All right. Wait. Does the audio work now? Big question. Hello? All right, so does the audio work now? All right. How's the quality of the audio? All right, I'm just going to let a few more. Okay, so this is just kind of like an impromptu live stream. It's been a while since I've done these. I thought I'd just use this opportunity to explain just a few updates about stuff. I mean, you see, I haven't been active lately. Right now, right now I'm working on a well, it should be up in the next few days, hopefully, but I'll it's kind of a surprise what it is, but it's another one. It's a commentary video, so yeah, you can expect that within the next few days. So a lot of you have been asking me what I'm going to do for like the 10th anniversary of Engines of Sodor, and I'm going to explain that today. So I'll start off by saying the title is going to be 10 out of 10, and if you can guess what that means, it's a prequel. See if people can guess. So basically, so it's basically, well, not necessarily an origin story. Well, kind of, but think of it as like an extended episode. But it's basically it talks about how Diesel 10 came to the island of Sodor. And when I say that, what I mean is it's not going to be like explaining, how he was built. I mean, it'll just be like a very, as I said before, it's an extended episode of like, how he came to. I'll put it this way: how he came to Sodor within my universe, as far as continuity. So obviously, as I said before, Magic Railroad's not canon. Yeah, so and I say extended episode because it's not going to be like some epic movie showing him like oh, yeah, so I mean, I don't know what the runtime would be, maybe 20 minutes maximum. Uh but that I'm hoping to get that out either on or around like the 10th anniversary of the first Ends of Sodor episode. And it's the first of again these again I'm not really sure what to call them yet, but these Engines of Sodor canon stories. So by saying that, I guess you can kind of get a sense of what it is. It's not like a and there are origins. It's more of just like an extended Engines of Sodor episode. And so sorry to get off topic. Someone's asking me, do I like Magic Railroad? So I mean I've talked about this in other videos. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. I think the overall aspect of turning it into like Thomas into it basically, if you saw the Unlucky Tugs video on it, that's pretty much my opinion mostly. I just feel like it was. I'll put it this way. I don't know if you've heard of that, like what is it, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but with Tom and Jerry. that's that's a good analogy of putting it. They're two great things I love, but putting together, why would you want to do that? If you get that analogy, you can kind of understand. I have no issue with Shining Time on its own, but I feel like as a theatrical film canon to the universe, it just really goes against everything about what made Thomas so appealing. That's all I'll say. Just I posted a review of it back like yeah for what was it like 2015, and back then I was a pretentious film student, just kind trying to find issues I could go all elaborate over. So it's pretty bad now, but my opinion is pretty much the same. Yeah, they should have just left the magic element out of it. As far as the PT Boomer stuff, I'll say that on its own, it definitely helps the overall story. And yeah, I know people have said like it makes it even less about Thomas. And yes, in the overall big picture, it does. But as its own thing, I think he's fine. I mean, the actor seems to be having a lot of fun doing it. And I've actually thought about doing like a with Phantom Menace, Star Wars, they did this Phantom edit where they cut out Jar Jar Binks and a lot of people and a lot of scenes. I feel like I could do something like that, and just have it take place all on Sodor. And honestly, if I did if it was like that, it would be a lot more under. If it was like that, everything took place on Sodor. Like Lady was some lost engine made out of solid gold hidden in the mountains, and yeah, I feel like that would have made the film loads better. But anyway, so but let me emphasize, I don't hate Magic Railroad. It's not like, but it definitely, I feel like its legacy it had really tarnished the show. And a lot of people think that. So my views are pretty much like most people. Um, Someone's saying that the Vagrant engine from the engine from Demons, the one who got woken up. I haven't seen it yet. Whatever this Dudley the Vagrant engine is, if he is the same engine, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it looks exactly the same, but I'll have to go watch that. Anyway, what was I about to say? Magic Railroad never aired in Hungary. Wow. Well, I mean, didn't like I remember seeing on the wiki, didn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the show not air in Hungary until like 2008? I've been to Hungary. I really liked it. Yeah, I mean the name Hungary. I've always liked that name, but yeah, I went there about 6 years ago. I really liked it in Budapest. Yeah. Hold on, let me just Speaking of dubs of, I'm just gonna say this right out as far as the wiki goes. I don't mind, if you want to list like, oh, what's it called in other languages and all that. But like the other day, I was looking at a VHS I used to have, Steamies versus Diesels, and it was like the wiki does this thing where if it's released in another country but with the same episode order, do we really need to have like go look? I'm trying to explain this, but do we really need to have a VHS article page be like this DVD is a American, British slash Canadian slash uh, Israeli, Slovenian slash I don't know Uruguayan DVD, and then I feel like just as a suggestion for the wiki, keep the different dubs as far as DVDs, VHSs, or I would suggest keeping those as separate articles because it can get really confusing when I'm trying to look up something, especially if I'm trying to look up the order they were all released. And I get to one that was released in like 20 different countries, and I'm trying to find the next one. You guys know what I mean. And it's also weird how, and again, I'm not saying you shouldn't put this in, just put it maybe in a separate bullet, but this is the first season to have Alec Baldwin and then like 10 other narrators for different. You guys know what I mean. I'm not trying to like trash talk the wiki or anything, but that was something that really annoyed me the other day. I was just trying to find something and I just couldn't get very cluttered with like all these different dubs. Anyway, there's my soapbox, but okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. This Diesel 10 thing will be out. I really hope by the 10-year anniversary. So what is that? It's in June. So I mean, I've already started filming. What day was the first one released? Like June 13th. I probably got that wrong, but and then I have some other few stories planned here and there. The second one is going to be Murdoch. That's just because I've always wanted to put him in an episode, but his model wasn't available until like the transition to 2019, Train 2019. So I just want to put him, but it'll tie in, as far as like the universe. One thing I meant to say here, it's really difficult trains on my, because right now, because I keep going back and forward to college, I have to use trains on my laptop, and I have an external monitor, so at least the overall size is okay. But you may notice, the graphics are a bit spotty, and it can get really difficult. It's not like when I had that PC, used to have that PC where I could just spend hours on it. Just a combination of like a large workload with school and stuff like that. That's why train stuff comes out a lot slower these days. And yeah, I had this whole issue, you may remember, back shortly before the new year, where I had to upgrade the Mac operating system, and then that completely screwed over all the graphics, so I had to like reinstall it. And but yeah, so that's one I don't know if I've said that before, but that's one reason I'm not as active anymore as far as trains. I'm hoping that if I get a new computer after I finish, which hopefully will be at the end of this year, maybe I'll start getting more into it. So I want to put it this way. My position's pretty much the same as I've said before. I'm not going to be doing regular stuff from now on, like a full series, but I still like doing stories and all that. So whether that be short stories I might do here and there, or like long specials. But in fact, one thing that inspired me to make this live stream, I forget what his name was. There's this, you've probably seen it, this user who does like piano covers of Thomas, or well, his channel is not like dedicated to Thomas, but he did a lot of like Thomas themes. He posted a video recently about why he's like kind of winding down with the Thomas music. It was just more of like he felt like he had done everything. And while I'm not saying like I'm completely done, no, I'm not even close to that. I'm just saying it's a lot, I'm probably rambling here a bit. It's a lot yeah, it's a lot more, especially with my computer setup. It's a lot more difficult to get things out on a constant basis. So it's so yeah. Bottom line, that's why you don't really see much from me anymore. But I'm still active. I try, and as I've said before, I want to get into like modeling and all that. So like stuff with horse. Or as you all know, I had planned that search for Smudger remaster. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. Trains, or I really want to do it wooden railway. I just have to think of the logistics of I'm thinking like, should I do it stop? I did a stop motion test of Sir Handel a few months ago. I'll probably upload that. So I'm wondering whether to do it stop motion or like like the typical pushing trains around with the string, or maybe just like yeah, I don't really want to do it in trains because I want to do something different, but you know what I mean. Once I get my own place, I'm hoping I can get my own model railroad and all that. Because right now I'm in a very small studio apartment, so it's pretty difficult. It's because I keep moving back and forth. It's pretty difficult to do stuff like that. Someone's asking if I'm doing any more remasters of episodes. Yes, I don't. Probably not soon. I'd say yeah, I probably will. As I said before, I'll probably do the D199/TED episodes. I feel like those were ones that need some more clarity. Um, what's my opinion on McDonald's? Yeah, sorry, that's a random question. Honestly, I mean, yes, it's very unhealthy, but it's weird because at least in my area, the McDonald's are yeah, the food's probably crap, but the restaurants themselves are in really clean condition. Like, they have like all these like it's almost like being in a airport cafe. It's weird. And I mean, I eat it occasionally, time to time, but it's like my mom always taught me, it's always in moderation. Like having it once a year is not going to kill you. Someone's asking if I've seen Space Jam. I've seen what do you got? Not the full movie, but like critic reviews of it. So I know the general premise. I think it was more before my time. So what was it, 96? And the same thing goes with the newer one. What was it called? Space Jam: A New Legacy. Although I will say, based on clips I've seen, it looks funny. With all the spoofs of Warner Brothers pop properties. Um, will I be making Horus into an actual TEOS character? Probably not. Unless it was like a cameo appearance as a joke. You have to think of him like oh, what's it? Rolly the coach. I mean, that was the big inspiration for it. Well, at least the overall writing stuff. Well, I guess I haven't released any of episodes yet, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like a spoof. Or oh, what was that other one? The one where one of the it was another narrow gauge train, and his friend had like he had a friend who had a butt for a face. What was it? Barry the Steam. That I think is what I'm trying to go for. But what do I know about Hungarian history? Some guy's asking me. Yeah, I know they were communist for a while, and I know that in 1956 they had some failed revolution. That's what I know as far as modern history. Obviously, I know like the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Uh, do I support communism? Man, these are very. Yeah, I'm not gonna put my political beliefs out there. But I always love the jokes where it's like communism itself is not a bad idea, but it's what was it? There was a funny joke I saw the other day that perfectly described it. Yes, it was a Reddit thread called what idea would work really well? What idea sounds great but doesn't work because people are jerks? Yeah, and I think that was communism was the first answer. I just thought that was so true. Yeah, I mean, as someone saying on a small scale, it's fine. Yeah, my God, this is turning into a history class lesson. It's one of those where, as an idea, I think it's fine. It's just practicality. Anyway, that's enough for uh, a history lesson for you guys. What are my other favorite childhood shows? Postman Pat was a big one. My dad was British, and so we had a British food store with like imports of British food, and they also had like Erdl Thomas toys, and they also had a lot of British VHSs apparently. So stuff like Blackadder, and you'd also see like kids videos there. So my dad, apparently when I was a baby, my dad bought the Postman Pat VHS along with a bunch of others. Like I think there was Naughty, the Clangers. Oh, the Clangers creeped me out. But yeah. Have I seen the new Super Mario Bros. Movie? No, I haven't. I might see it when it comes out on streaming. Yeah, I'm sure my reaction is just gonna be like, yeah, that was fine. That's probably the whole contra. They're like, I said this in a Twitter post, but a lot of people were not happy Chris Pratt was voicing it, or like the voice Chris Pratt gave him. And yeah, I feel like it could be a little more funny, but it, I just don't think I could take a movie seriously if for the whole movie the guy was sounding like, "Oh, let's go, it's a me." I mean, that would get old and annoying really fast. Uh, are there any TOS episodes I won't be remastering? So obviously there are ones the majority of them, put it that way. As far as like ones that I intentionally do not want to remaster, yeah. Uh, yeah, again, just the vast majority of them where if it didn't have a lot of what I thought was cringy, like immature breaking the fourth wall jokes and all that, those probably won't be or if it's just one that I just don't think, even though it's not my favorite, I just don't feel like it would gain much. Like Special Engines, I think. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I don't think it'd really gain much by remastering it. Thoughts on Michael Brandon? You'll find out in the next video I'm currently working on right now. I'll just leave it at that. Have I ever been to London? Oh yeah. I mean, like, again, my dad's British, so I go like every other year, pretty much. Your thoughts on Jack the Sodor Construction Company? It's weird because I never saw it as a child. The only intro I had to that, and again, this will be explained in this video I'm currently working on, but the only exposure I had to them was through those two season 6 episodes. And by the time all the other stuff with them came out, I'd already outgrown Thomas initially. So yeah, so I was just thinking like, all right, where these new characters are neat. Where'd they all go? Do I? Oh, this is an interesting one. Do I think the fandom's getting worse in terms of drama? My opinion has always been. You'll notice, yes, I comment on like controversies, but I try not to get involved in certain dramas. I just really don't like getting into hissy fits of about canceling people, and this gets into a whole other issue of like cancel culture and all that. But yeah, I just kind of just keep to myself as far as stuff like that. I'll say this: yes, the fandom definitely has issues, but compared to some other fandoms, it's very much from what I've seen. Again, I'm not at all saying that, but my God, like the Star Wars fandom, you know how toxic it can become, and I think, and what I'm saying is, yes, the fandom's not perfect, but it's a lot better than some other fandoms I've seen. Like, sheesh. Do I know Shepherd Studios Productions? Is that Shepperton Studios, or is that a channel? I may recognize it if I saw it, but someone's asking would I do a crossover with Victor Tanzig? Yeah, that'd be I'd be open to it. That'd be pretty fun. I mean, he's a funny guy. Yeah, honestly, I'd like to do a crossover with any of the big YouTubers. Yeah, which NWO Origins was the hardest to make? I guess it depends if you're looking at a filming or a script level. Script level, I think. Well, first off, especially those in the second season, Percy was pretty easy to make, and so was Duck because I knew. Yeah, I had just establishing his overall character. That was pretty easy. Bill and Ben was kind of hard because you had to. Yeah, just trying to get them onto the island. But I'd say probably James was the hardest because you had to. It's like anything where you're trying to make something that takes place in between. And I think this is the issue that Obi-Wan Kenobi show from Star Wars had is you have to make something in between, but you can't have it like um, break continuity. So that's how I came up with like he had to work on Thomas's branch line just to get more trained. Um, did I ever watch Project G1? Yeah, that's the Shed 17 sequel. I thought that was things like those. I'm not saying I don't have an opinion on them. I'm just saying they're not meant to be taken seriously. So I just go in having a fun time. Just how wacky and beat batshit they are. Yeah. Do I want to do a collab with the Unlucky Tug? Yeah, again, I'm open to like collaborating with any of them. Okay, when I say this, I'm not saying like every single person starts sending me like, "Oh, can you collab on me?" Like someone I've never heard of. What I'm saying is, if so a well-known fan member asked me to collaborate, yeah, I probably would. The Unlucky Tug, he's more of just like a commentary, so I don't see many opportunities. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I mean, if he reached out to me, then yeah, definitely. You people like him, Real Xbox Nerd, Enterprising Engine 93, all the, and again, I don't mean this as a arrogant statement, the big guys. And again, when I say that, I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about just like people who are just everyone would talk about. I know the guy. This kind of like a while back. The guy, if you've ever seen like the British, what was it, the British Railway series or something? The guy who made those, he made some comment saying like, "Oh yes, us at the top of the fandom are blah blah blah," and that just ignited a crap storm of. And yeah, obviously, I think that comment was not wise, but I think the reaction was a bit of an overreaction. It's clear and again, I don't know much about him. I know he's had other issues with stuff, but stuff like that, I feel like that's an issue of like drama that's just so unnecessary. Okay, so I'm gonna do answer just a few more of these because I have to get back to work. But let's see. Do I like Sonic the Hedgehog? I never really played the game or watched him as a child. I know of him, so I know like the character. I feel like my biggest exposure was just through those early YouTube poop memes. You know, like Snoopingus. God, what was his name? Robotnik. Um, what is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? Again, as you've heard me before, I'm not really into like big superhero movies. The ones, a few I have seen, I'd probably say either Endgame or Infinity War, just because those are like big epic finals. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was quite funny, but again, I just really haven't seen many. In fact, especially now that Endgame's done, I again, this is just me personally. I just don't really have any desire to see more like it, unless again it's if it's an individual film, then yes, I'll go. I just feel like as far as like these cross universe things, Endgame wrapped it up pretty well. Um, all right, I'm gonna answer one more question because sorry, I have to really get back working. But all right. Okay, so I'll answer these two. First one, do I prefer Mike and Jr. or Hartshorn's music? I'll talk about this more in this video I'm working on, but I always preferred um, Mike and Jr. just because well, for one, it just felt like it was almost inevitable. I mean, you couldn't really outdo Mike and Jr.'s themes, because they're so iconic. But I just thought like the instruments Hartshorn used and just I mean, or not or who him. I know he got way better once Ed Welch left. So him, okay, I'll just say Ed Welch. It was just like to me the most generic slow music. It just sounded cheap. I'll put it that way. And if that's just my opinion. If you like it, fine. But part of the fun, a lot of the fun of Thomas was the musical themes, and it just took a real. I don't know if they just had less of a budget, but it just the quality just went completely down the drain. As far as Buster the Steamroller, yeah, again, he was another character. Since I never saw the later pack stuff as a kid, I never knew he existed until I was an adult, like I don't know, 12. Yeah, I like him fine. I always think Patrick, the cement mixer, who only appeared once. I think he's always been my favorite. I also really like Ned. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to end this early. I have to get back to work, but yeah, I thought I'd just give out some updates about what's going on right now, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.